All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I've reached out to Wink and Sarah. Sarah will catch up, and I just haven't heard from Wink. I was just asking Sarah a question, and I got the answer. So the agenda today, has everybody seen it? Okay. The I kind of I know I've talked to Matt a lot. I haven't had a chance to talk to the rest of you guys much. I've talked to Wink, about stuff here and there, and we've been looking at kind of milestones and things to accomplish at certain points in this process. And sometimes things don't happen as fast as you expected, and that's okay. There's a lot of things that have been really kind of still falling within the timeline and the website for the most part. I think that message is mostly done out there. So feel free to take a look at it. There was a document that I wrote that included, it's a separate document from what we've been looking at. That included the mission statement, the case statement, the vision statement, and our bylaws that I wanted to put out to the general community and get feedback on. We got to a point where we have visited the mission statement and we're good with that, and the vision statement. But I think there were still some questions about the case statement that we haven't really tackled. I'm not sure what it's missing or what it needs to be added, but maybe that's something we could go over tonight together. Does that sound reasonable? Okay. I'd like to start putting stuff out, but I also want to make sure that I'm not, talking over you guys, through this process. I don't want to be speaking out of turn. I want us to be, a combined voice. Because I'm that guy that's going to grab the baton and start running. And sometimes you forget there's other people on the playing field, and I'm doing a really concentrated effort to be part of this team. And even though I'm kind of the loud guy that's been like, hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. You know what I mean? So any thoughts on any of that gobbledygook I just threw out there? Well, I mean, some of the stuff that I want to get out there is that document that I talked about. I want people to have a chance to nominate others or themselves for, open positions on the board. But, when it comes to forming our board right now and becoming a 501c3, our step in the process is forming the board, voting in our bylaws and our mission and those documents as official, and then closing the board and officially becoming a 501c3 at that point. So we're staring at December in the face. What?
Just Matt, I think, has been trying to get in this double dutch, has unmuted twice. So I didn't mean to laugh. It wasn't really funny, but I think in your urge to prompt us, Matt's wanted to say something. So I was just.
Oh, yeah. I'm not seeing anything. I'm sorry if I didn't see anything.
Oh no, he just unmuted himself.
Oh.
Yeah. Do we want to just jump in and start going through these? Like the case statement and vision statement?
Yeah, I mean, mission statement's done. That's one of the first things we did. I think we were all agreed on that. What?
Case statement and vision statement.
Oh.
I'm not sure what I said.
Oh, I thought you said mission statement. Yeah, let's go ahead and open that up and work on it. Let me get
I
it
have a
real
question. Can, can you tell me where the link to today's agenda is?
yeah, we'll put it in the notes real quick.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me just get to the right place. If somebody,
I got it.
you got it? Okay.
Thank you.
Had a late start getting my shit together today, and I apologize for that.
Yeah, I don't know if you sent out this agenda, or if you did, I didn't see it.
Yeah,
but I
I've
found it.
really been, ooh, what's all this? I've really been overwhelmed the last few days.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Okay. Has everybody got this?
Yes.
Okay. Looks like I've been making some things on here. Matt, why don't you back me up with the typing and stuff like that, if you don't mind? So let's just go into it then.
Great question. Can I just accept all those changes?
Yeah.
Probably don't need to do suggestions. Like, let's just update it live.
Yeah. Is that what we got? Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Come on, computer. Okay. All right. So Queer Burners originally started in 2008 as a platform to network LGBTQIA plus Burning Man participants by creating an online space for the community. Many camps and smaller groups in the regions around the world existed, but no organization that was guided by the 10 principles which allowed people in these groups to engage and collaborate. Through our website and social media, the group created more interactions and engagement that grew organically over time. Should I just read it all the way through? Okay. Queer Burners has also created and launched events for leadership and community engagement in safe spaces. These spaces are very important to people who are marginalized in the outside world and sometimes in the Burning Man community. Our events have put LGBTQIA plus artists and performers in the spotlight. We have cultivated and encouraged leadership and mentorship in the community. Looking forward, we will continue to produce events that seek to inspire collaboration. Our project will create an umbrella organization to support LGBTQIA participants who seek funding for the community projects, both in the scope of Burning Man and beyond. By aggressively assisting artists and performers and working with 501c3 organizations, our goal is to help community members succeed in the expression of their art. Consent culture and safe places is a key tenet of Queer Burners that needs to be fixed. It is important that Queer Burners take radical inclusion to its highest expression with queer people of color and one of the most marginalized segments of our community, transgender and non-binary persons. Lastly, Queer Burners advocates for queer spaces in the Burning Man community, which includes the queer neighborhood at Burning Man. I mean, personally, I really like the way it's written, but I'm also so close to it that I may not be seeing some of the things you guys see. And I think this version is a combination of Matt and my work. Is that right? Or is this, Matt, did you rewrite this?
I think it's been rewritten a couple times. I've seen input from a few different.
Yeah.
One quick thing, I saw one example of Queer Burners is 2 words. I don't know if you want to do a quick cut, find and replace or something like that.
There's a few down here in the bottom section. Key
I'll-
tenet of queer burners. Okay.
I'll fix it.
Okay.
And then the only other thing that sort of left out of me is the paragraph starting with consent culture and safe places. Those are two key tenets, I think, right? Not just a key tenet. Is that right? Or are you looking at that as one idea?
I see what you mean. Yeah, I could see it. That is two items. That makes sense.
And so then I think we need another sentence about consent culture, because I think the following sentence is a little bit awkward, but the following sentence seems to be talking about the safe places for, I don't know, only, I mean, the way it's written, it kind of feels like it's only for the highest or the most marginalized segment of our community, transgender, non-binary. So I'm not sure how, I think just the second line needs to be a little bit clarified or beefed up a little bit to represent the whole idea of what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's two different thoughts, kind of, huh? It's important that queer burners take radical inclusion. That's maybe a separate paragraph. Would that be agreeable?
I mean, I think consent culture and safe places could be thought of under the rubric of radical inclusion. So I don't
Well, I
think
think it's really important. Like, I'll tell you one of the stories that sticks out in my mind is I remember Jason Godfrey talking about, like, if he wants to go to an event, like if he was thinking about unscrews, he would type into the search, into a Google search, it says, is unscrews safe for Black people? And because he says he would always get something back if there was some unsafe quality to that event. And I could see where I was thinking about that at that point, how the two kind of came together. Because I know that some of the transgender and non-binary people that I've talked with at our own events, you know, are looking for that safety to when they go into a place that they don't know. So does that mean that that paragraph works well together, or is it two separate ideas?
no, I think in my mind, it makes sense that those ideas fall under radical inclusion. Number one, does that sound right to you guys?
Well, I mean, I would really want to push this to somebody who would be affected by this statement. And to me, I think Nexus might have more insight than three white guys.
I mean, yes, on part of it. While also not wanting to tokenize myself because, you know, people of color are not a monolith. I think the thing that's actually sticking out to me is just making sure we're being intentional with naming radical inclusion, because we don't really name too many other principles.
Okay.
And I wonder if there's like another, like, is it community built? Like, what is another thing? I don't necessarily think it's a good or a bad thing, but I also feel like radical inclusion is a bit of a cliche at this point for a lot of people of color and trans and non-binary people, because it is often the most touted principle, but also like the least, the impact of being included in spaces which are actually harmful, like actually then turns people away. You know what I mean? Like I'm worried that people might just think that we're using it because it's easy, and it might actually like make them question it more.
Hey, Nexus, what do you think about using the terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Yeah.
Is that even more cliche, or?
No, I mean, I think that's definitely like, I think been more accepted in like the common jargon. And I think that at least, I think it communicates a different kind of, are they doing the work? But I think it's probably more in line with what we're trying to say rather than highlighting radical inclusion.
And then we don't have to define radical inclusion as well. Part of that paragraph with queer burners creates queer burners values or prioritizes equity or diversity, equity, and inclusion, Full stop, and then we could
Right.
talk about,
Building community.
say, our key tenants. And we also emphasize, also take into consideration, or I'm not really sure, then we can mention, if we want to talk about the most marginalized segment. I don't even necessarily think we have to qualify transgender, non-binary as the most marginalized. I think we just include them, full stop.
Yeah. I like that, especially if you just say like queer people of color and transgender, non-binary, especially for people who are both.
Yeah. So how about if we start with queer burners? Do we want to say values, or how
Maybe
did it start?
Centers.
What's that?
Centers. Are you talking about how to like lean into how to bring in diversity, equity, and inclusion? Yeah, I wonder center, if only because even looking at the logo, I feel like it's in line with like the concentric circles and like
Cool. Yeah.
the idea of centering these things.
So queer burners centers. So I also want to know, when we talk about queer burners, we're using that as singular or as plural? Like queer burners is a singular, it creates, right? But it happens to be a plural word, so it looks like it should be, they create. Does it make sense? Is it a singular? Is it a single? Is it one or multiple? I think it should be always considered a single thing. It creates, right? Instead of they create. Make sense?
Yep.
So if we had to use the words queer, you'd think we're talking about many burners, but no, we're talking about one organization.
Yeah, that's the name of the organization.
Right. It's not a bunch of people necessarily, so it's a singular. I hope you're following what I'm saying. Anyway,
Yeah.
queer burners creates, or centers, queer burners centers.
If we're talking queer burners, like we're queer burners, like it would be two separate words. That's how our style document has it defined. Because we're queer and we're burners.
So can someone help me with this? Let's just write something and then iterate.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I don't know if that's the right turn of phrase, but is that right? Yeah. Full stop.
I don't know. Like, if I read that, I'd have a hard time parsing that.
Hold central to our culture, or hold central to our values, or as a central value. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Values of our community, of our spaces. I don't know if we want to like be broad or narrow.
Oh. So, Matt, I think what Nexus is saying is queer burning centers diversity, equity, inclusion as core values of our community is the full sentence.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, say again.
Core values of our community. Yeah. I think that sounds really nice.
Sounds good.
And then we can talk about consent culture and safe places. You can cut and paste that whole sentence, I think. Consent culture and safe places are key tenets of queer burners.
Yeah.
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 And we also place high priority on inclusive communities. Inclusive, or no, that's not right. How do we bring in the idea of people of color, transgender, non-binary? I guess that sentence is right. I mean, that holds. Do we need to capitalize those descriptions? Queer people of color, do those need to be capitalized? Transgender, non-binary, I don't think they're proper nouns.
That's a great question. That's not addressed in the style guide, is it?
No, it's not.
I think queer people of color I think all those should be lowercase. My sense is.
It's just my bad grammar, maybe.
I realize the intention to honor and whatever to strengthen, but yeah.
Is it persons or people? Anyone?
All right. I'm not a great grammar guy, honestly. I'm sorry.
I mean, either sound fine. I actually want to backtrack and wonder if we need to put queer people of color, if we need to put queer before people of color, or if we're like,
No.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we can combine that sentence somehow into the previous one, just to have one full thought. Consent culture and safe places are key tenets of queer burners. And
Or people of color, transgender, and non-binary, and beyond.
particularly, or something like that. So Matt, instead of something about and are key tenets of queer burners, particularly as applied or as in relation to, particularly
to ensure, I don't know.
We're getting into run-on sentence territory.
Yeah, I just wanted to have just a fragment there. Something about this relates. I don't think we need important that queer burners create an inclusive community. I think all that can come out. But I think key tenets of queer burners, particularly for,
Okay.
I don't think that's exactly right, but we're getting closer. So particularly for, or especially among, or involving, or honoring, or, I'm not sure what the right, particularly.
That looks right to me. It's
close. It's all right.
Remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. This, no, I mean in the sense that we can always update this. This isn't our bylaws, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's something that we need to get pretty close to right. So.
Sure.
I'm happy with that as it is. Oh, and one other term previously that jumped out at me was something about aggressive. We do something aggressively, or what was it?
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Is
What was
this
that?
artist?
I don't like that either.
I mean, the alliteration was fun, but
I didn't even catch that.
What was it?
Adam. There we go. No, I think we need a different word. I'm just being silly. I think just assisting artists.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to qualify it.
Because aggressive is like, "Arr."
We will help you.
Take the money and build something cool.
But I said no.
And also, just tiny little thing. Prior sentence. Or sorry, the next. Anyway, the paragraph. Projects will create an umbrella. Okay, so that's the same paragraph. The previous sentence, instead of projects both in the scope of Burning Man and beyond, that seems a little clunky as a phrase. Both with community projects, both within Burning Man and beyond, maybe both. Or projects within Burning Man and beyond. Community projects within Burning Man and beyond.
Okay. It sounds clunky to you the way it's written.
Well, in the scope of Burning Man, in the scope means like someone is aim at it.
Okay.
In the scope.
Do you want to get rid of that, Matt, in the scope, and then put mini projects
Within
within, well,
Within the Burning Man community?
yeah,
Or are you talking about the event specifically? Actually, I'm glad you just asked that, Kurt, because I actually wasn't sure.
so, I mean, when I was written it, so help support people that want to take art to Burning Man
Mhm.
and to regionals or to maybe
Okay.
their community park or something like that. That was the theory behind it.
I think what you just said makes perfect sense. I would replace that end of that sentence with what you just said.
Done. That
So
was great.
projects going to Burning Man and regionals. Going to Burning Man.
Um,
For Burning Man, okay.
how about other regional events? And regional events.
But it's not necessarily,
Yeah.
it have to be regional, like if
Oh.
someone wants to create a piece of art and install it in Reno and the city's like, cool, and then we help them do that.
I wonder if like keep what you have and just add and spaces. So it's projects for Burning Man and other community events and spaces.
I like it.
The only thing I have a problem with at this point is the for Burning Man. Because we're not a part of Burning Man. I think going to Burning Man
How about
would be more.
funding for art, for funding to bring art to Burning Man or something like that? Art projects. To seek funding to bring art projects to Burning Man or the Burning Man events. To bring art projects to Burning Man. I think that makes sense. That's an event, capital B.
To Burning Man.
To bring art
To Burning Man.
to, yeah, you got it, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. To bring art to Burning
There
Man.
we go.
Another, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So no more aggression. I mean, I feel like this really says the same thing this refines and says the same thing we've been saying since the beginning. Are you guys good with this?
Just, it's a minor tweak. I can edit all day long. That sentence we were just working on, could we start it with the second sentence? So just put by assisting artists and performers is the first sentence, because that really talks about
Oh, I see what you mean.
art, right? And then what we'll do is we'll create an umbrella organization. So it's just variation of this of the structure a little bit too.
I like that. Good suggestion. Everybody else? I'll say aye.
Can we just replace all of this with organization? Will support.
A project. Can you read what you want to do?
Yeah, here, I'll just type it. I can also undo.
Okay.
It's just cleaner, I think.
We could just say we will support.
Do we want to say we, or should we say queer burners?
I'm not.
Yeah, I think we've avoided saying we as
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not
Queer burners.
in our organization.
Apostrophe. Queer burners is, yeah.
No. There's no apostrophe. Is there?
Yeah. If you want to make it an adjective, yeah.
Okay.
Or I mean, it's equivalent to his or her. Our goal queer burners apostrophe. That's correct. Is to help community members. Yeah.
That looks really weird to me, but
Well, you could quite say queer burners is apostrophe s as well, but that would be. It's like it's also correct, but it's optional.
I got you.
You could also say the goal of queer burner. If you want to get around that.
That might be cleaner. Yeah, that looks cleaner. Thank you, Kurt. You're a rock star on this stuff. Thank you. All right.
Now the sentence actually, the sentences doesn't read correctly anymore. By assisting artists and performers and working with other blah blah blah. Queer burners help community members. Queer burners helps community members. Expression of their art. So again, even more simplified. Yep. Yeah, even better.
Let's
I
get it.
think, where was it? I think it was in the sentence that you just rewrote, so I think it took care of that. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's great.
Ship it.
Okay. Let me. Where does that leave us? So we got the mission statement. That leaves us. Did we go through the vision statement and come to a final on that?
I don't remember.
I don't think we finished with that.
I don't think we did. Well, we can check real quick. It's short.
Everybody got it?
Yeah, 1 sec. Fighting with Google tonight.
Now, the nice thing I liked about Nexus's version is that it was very succinct and to the point. I feel like some of the stuff in Matt, your version is kind of already covered in the case statement.
Okay. What do you want to write then? Should
Well,
we just character?
Just visiting. So I'm like, what does the world look like if everything we're trying to do happens normally in the world? I think that was Nexus's advice when we first started talking about this.
Right. If actually, could we, because it really is kind of a companion piece to the mission statement. It's like, if we're successful in our mission, right, then this is the vision of the world we have. So it would be helpful for me. Would anyone else be interested in just like reading the mission statement real quick as framework? Because the vision statement's not meant to be like read in isolation from it.
Gotcha. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that up on my screen where we left. This is the mission statement that we've finished with. Founding on Burning Man culture, the mission of Queer Burners is to cultivate inclusive spaces for LGBTQIA people and allies by fostering community and leadership.
I mean, with that, oh yeah, no, you already did it in version 3.0. That first, oh wait, no, never mind. Yeah, no comment. Third time's the charm.
Like the only thing I added here.
Imagine a future where LGBTQ AI burners wield the power and resources to thrive in celebration of a truly inclusive burner community through arts and performances, and are able to sustainably contribute to the culture of Burning Man and the world. I love it. But anybody, thoughts, feelings?
I'm good.
So the lower, you just read the lowest one, the furthest, version 3, right?
Yeah.
We imagine the future where wield the power.
Okay.
I
So
like it.
everybody's good with this then?
Yeah.
All right. So let me grab another document here that doesn't have all this in it yet. So no, this is the other one. Here we go. All right. So then we would insert the mission statement, the case statement. This is all the old stuff here. And then the bylaws into this page, putting it all together. And then this is a page that I would publish to the community and say, this is what we're doing. We want you to comment on it and add your notes to it.
I would say the bylaws are probably out of the scope of a press release. But
So no, this isn't the press release. This is a document that we would be not this is what I was understanding what we as a group wanted to do at one point. And that was 6 months ago when we had this conversation where we release this information and give people a chance to comment on it. The actual press release, the written thing that I wrote is this piece here. Queer Burners is launching with a refined mission set for 2021 as a 501c3 with a new and old leadership working together to be better and stronger community resource for LGBTQIA Burning Man participants. In December 2020, we'll be placing our board and asking you for help and feedback in this process by nominating yourself or someone in the community that would be willing to help mold our future. This January, Queer Burners will launch with a new website, new mission statement, and plans for making the future of the community better for all whom we represent. Is that right? Anyway, diversity is an important component of that vision. Our website, our nomination form, and that's where it has all those job titles we went through the other day. Descriptions for all the roles. Anyway, that's already there. Nominations are open 12/1 to, I mean, obviously this has changed, but your chance to add your voice. The same applies to your chance to comment on the foundation documents we are using to create our organization. You are welcome to suggest edits, comment, and provide any feedback to the organizers by following this link.
Do you want to talk at all about how those recommendations or suggestions or comments are going to be considered
Okay.
to give blind validity and transparency to the process? Like, what if someone comes up with a really important idea, but this is beyond our scope or something like that? How do we honor that input without if we're not going to take the advice or whatever?
No, yeah, I got what you're saying.
How about something like all contributions will be reviewed by the development committee, or whoever's in the whoever we right now, the board development committee or the organizational development committee, something like that.
Do you see me typing?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
So I think what we put out to the community, I would suggest is, yes, this press release. And then maybe just our mission and vision, possibly our case statement,
Okay.
and then a link to the bylaws where people can comment, because the bylaws are really long. I'm concerned if we
I think it's a great idea, man.
if we have one huge document that we send to people, they're gonna see a wall of text and disengage. It's my only concern. So if we send them to a Google Doc where they can comment, actually, we should have links to all the docs, right? Where they can go comment.
Yeah, that's what this is. This is providing all those links.
Okay.
They're all separate. And Kurt, you wanted to say something.
No, I think what Matt said in terms of having links instead of a text is great. Maybe the mission statement could be in the release, just because they're short and sweet and very profound, and would work in the release that
Oh,
way.
you mean separately?
No, just as part of the text, maybe in quotations or something. In italics. There's a little block within the release. Our mission statement. This is our vision statement with links, but then the rest of it is just links. Find
Okay,
out.
let me make sure that I'm on the right page. So if this is the press release, it has 3 links in it. It has a link to the website. It has a link to the nomination form, and it has a link to this document for them to comment as they like.
But it will be simplified, right? That document.
I mean, there's only 4 things on here. It's the mission statement, case statement, vision statement, and
Okay. Well, case statement pending review. These will be.
well, we did the review tonight.
Yeah. So I'm
I'm
just.
going to be putting that in here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is that too much? Is that wall of text you're worried about?
I will say I'm also concerned about, like, especially with the bylaws, not just the wall of text, but like bylaws aren't like necessarily something people are familiar with.
Okay.
So either we're asking people to do work to know what they even are, to provide feedback, or we're getting feedback from people who aren't familiar with it. And not that they won't have good feedback, but it won't necessarily be relevant, or you know what I mean? And so I'm worried about asking suggestions from people who aren't set up for success to give them, if that makes sense.
No, it makes absolute sense. So why don't we just do the 3 documents, the mission statement, case statement, and vision statement for now?
That's fine.
And I think the other thing too, I don't know, part of me just gets like really worried about too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to like editing, copy editing, and text. But I also understand like wanting to ask people for feedback, and I'm wondering if there's like a middle ground. For example, with a mission statement, like instead of asking for people to edit, I wonder if like just general comments is enough. Like, does this line up with what you think Queer Burners does? If so, and why or why not, right? Because I think the why or why not would actually give me more of the feedback I want than them like editing this text.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand, and I definitely agree.
I don't think I would open up any of these documents to direct editing.
No, just commenting. Literally, just commenting.
Yeah, but then we need to make sure not to mention editing in it, because I think I at least thought that's what we're inviting people to do. So I'm glad we're talking about it now.
Suggest comments. Suggest comments and provide any feedback to the organization by following this link. Okay. And then I like what Kurt said about like, well, what are you going to do with this? What's the point of me making my comments? What are you going to do with it? So we basically say we will take all feedback and assess changes as we move into our first year as an organization. Any more thoughts on that or a better way to say it?
Can I riff on that?
Wheels turning.
Where is that? Oh, I see.
It's on the bottom of the page. I
Yeah.
typed it in.
Let me riff on this if you don't mind. Whoa.
You mind if I talk while you riff? Right.
Go for it. Yes.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that actually comes to mind is for some of the things which won't necessarily be feedback, but like if people have questions, just providing an opportunity to like maybe do a Zoom and invite folks in where we can actually like in real time just respond to like comments and questions that they might have, which don't necessarily result in an edit, but like are like answers that they might need to know or that would help them understand why it is the way it is. Does that make sense? And this might have been part of
So it's actually been my intention to hold a town hall. It might be a Zoom town hall. I mean, it's not like, you know, people are going to fly in from Florida to say, what's going on? Or Washington, D.C. Or, you know, the later it is that we're getting this documentation together, the more pushed back it seems to me. It feels like there's a good chance that we could have a town hall probably in January. But I think we have to have our board of directors in place well before then. At least, you know, our starting board. So we can, you know, start our process. And then if I'm not mistaken, then at some point later on, you know, we can add, you know, officers and board members, but we still need those 3 key positions filled in. Now, right now, we don't have necessarily a treasurer. I don't know if that one guy from Tickled Mink is thinking about being that role for now. You know,
Can I jump in on what Matt's typing on the what we're going to do with the feedback? Did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So are we seeking for these documents, inviting potential change or, you know, like just feedback on, are these capturing what we want to capture in terms of the mission and vision and case statement? If so, then I think we should put in a deadline before everything is finalized. You know, like we.
No, I think we're past that point really right now. We want people to look at the documents, give us feedback. Maybe there's something glaring in there that we need to change and we can change it. You know?
So when we release the press release, if we could say, by then, if we know what the deadline will be when we want to submit these documents, we can include that perhaps. So that if something's burning on someone's heart about what needs to be changed, they can get it to us in a timely manner.
Well, I mean, we can make change. This isn't the bylaws. We can change this at any point. You know, some of these items we can change at any point. The only thing we can't change right now is the mission statement, because that is part of the bylaws.
I think sorry, I'm breaking apart. I think Kurt's what he's saying is just give people a deadline, because otherwise they'll be like, oh, that's neat, I'll go take a look later.
Oh, okay.
And make it relevant to the form, you know, the actual foundation of the organization whenever those documents are submitted. I realize that things can be changed, but you know, it's like, do you want the impression that everything is set in stone when people read this, or do you want to give them the impression that they might have a chance to influence it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. Sorry, I misunderstood.
So we welcome your input, but give it to us by this date, because we plan to move forward with, you know, registering the non-profit, you know.
I think Matt captured it pretty well here. We encourage the community to provide any feedback or questions in our mission, vision, values, and case statement by December 31st. The board will take any feedback to heart. Whoops, something changed.
Sorry, I had values in there, which
Okay.
we haven't.
Okay, so the board will take all feedback to heart and use it as a guide for defining the future of the organization. That sounds great.
Except will we already have a board by then or not?
Yes, well, we need to get our board situated ASAP.
And don't you think the board people who
Our
might be
starting board.
will
What's that?
comment documents, or is that a separate process? Are we beyond that?
And it's kind of sitting in a hole for me. I can't really, I'm not sure.
I didn't hear you, Scott. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the problem I'm having. I'm trying to hear you too.
Okay. So you're releasing this to generate interest and enthusiasm for the new organization, also to find people who might be nominated or nominate themselves for some open positions, right?
Correct.
And so this doesn't have to take place. I mean, it seems like there's a dual mission here, because we also want to invite feedback on these documents, right?
Correct.
I think the intent of this,
Go ahead, Matt.
yeah, I think the intent of this, sorry, Kurt, I think I'm answering your question. I apologize for cutting you off. If I haven't answered your question, you can yell at me. I think the intent of this document is to send this to the community, say, here's what we're doing, here's, our mission, vision, and case statement. We want feedback on that. If you want to be involved or know someone who may want to be involved, you can nominate them here, right? And then we give them a deadline.
So my only concern is with the phrase, the board will take all feedback to heart.
Oh yeah.
Is it the board, or is it like this group that's working on creating the board? And are we, for now, are we, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's,
I mean, this might be yeah, exactly. This might be a we moment.
Yeah.
I think something even more specific than that. I'm sorry to belabor this, but we will take all feedback to heart. That sounds kind of cheesy to me. We'll take it to heart. Okay, great. How about a formal process by which the people who are making decisions? All comments will be presented to whoever it is. I mean, I don't know what you call what we're doing right now, if we have a name for this, the entity group, or whatever. So that they're considered validly and equally, because otherwise there isn't really any guarantee that anything will be equitable in this process.
Well, I mean, the decisions are really going to be by the board, and we have to have the board in place. We're asking people to submit nominations so we can add to that as we move forward.
Right.
Where we're missing something.
I was talking about the nominations per se. I was talking more about the comments that we might get. Like, let's say someone wants to add a word to the vision statement. And some people on the board or some people who are going to be on the board, or some of us like that word and some of us don't. How are we going to debate that? How are we going to resolve it? So that suggestion is, that the process is transparent, or relatively transparent and equitable.
Okay.
So am I belaboring a point that's not important to you guys, or?
I could go either way on that. I think we're early enough that we may not need that level of process, but if it's important to you guys, we can go there.
I just want seriously that we do have a process, and that we're honoring everybody. I mean, put our money where our mouth is basically.
No, Kurt, I love that you're bringing this up, because I think it definitely, we want to make sure we're setting appropriate expectations for what we're asking people to do and why, right?
So what would you suggest for this?
How about all comments, any comments provided by the deadline, all comments provided by the deadline, will be presented to the, whatever you call this team, this organizational development, this, yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
For consideration.
For consideration, yeah, excellent, yeah. I think full stop, right?
Well, then we bring that, we will, that's gone, okay. Okay, that answers, okay, yeah, that's a lot clearer too.
And you could say any other feedback will be used as a guide for defining the future of the organization. That's fair, but it's a little bit redundant at that point.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds really good. Hey, I really appreciate the time, you guys. It's been an adventure, and you know, I'm sorry if I I just want to make sure that we're, you know, that I'm doing right by you guys, and that you know, that we're, you know, focusing on the important things. And you all brought up so many important things in our conversation today that that wasn't just directly in my sight line, and I appreciate that.
Can we address a couple quick things? I think we should set a deadline for, we should agree on what the date is to close nominations and close feedback on mission, vision, case statement.
I think December 31st is just great, to be honest with you.
Did we finish with the descriptions, the position descriptions? Is that finalized?
The roles and responsibilities?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, we did.
Okay, so those are ready to be, you know, to have someone look at them and say, oh, I want to do that, or I can do that, or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And it's not carved in stone too. It's a draft document that can be changed as needed. But through process, you know. I think it's important that this committee, oh yeah, that's gotta be fixed. You know, that this committee is all on the same page. Not any of us should be kind of running ahead of the game with, you know, scissors and, you know, making the rest of us look bad. So we gotta, you know, it's just, we don't want to make the rest of us look bad. And we really want to be a team on this effort. So, let's see, Matt, something else?
I think we should send this out and get feedback.
I agree. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. Or yeah, are you guys okay with me doing that?
Can I make one suggestion, which is like, whatever the final thing is you're gonna send, like I think at least one other person should review it. And
I plan on just copying and pasting what's here, to be honest with you. That's why I'm here sharing this with you now.
Well, but like this, oh, sorry, I'm not actually presenting.
What happened?
Like the document with the mission, vision, case statement, like, is that actually gonna be?
I gotta copy the pieces back over to that. So the case statement that we just did will go into here. And then I'll get rid of the bylaws and I'll be pasting in the new vision statement.
Okay. So
basically everything we've agreed to at this point is what I'm trying to do.
So the document we're sending them to should have the mission, vision, case statement. It should be, anyone should be able to comment.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And then in the press release, are we adding our mission or vision anywhere in there? Or not? Or are we just
Body of the press release, is that what you're talking about?
in this? Yeah, we need to rename that press release.
Scott's talking about a link to the document that has the vision, the mission, the vision, and the statement all together in one document.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm talking about the actual press release, which we were just editing.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to see what that looks like before we send it out. And I would actually suggest that whoever our communications person is, sends it
Oh, okay.
to start off on the right foot with driving home that, like, if you take this role, then this is what you do. And you need to be comfortable and not comfortable, but like own that and be good with whatever we're sending out from a communications perspective.
Yeah, I like that idea, Matt. And if that person wants to make any changes, then they should be run by us, essentially, just to make sure that it's cool.
Okay.
Is that okay? Or am I being too?
No, it sounds, I'm actually relieved. Because I think you're absolutely right on that. I need to talk to Wink. I've been trying to reach him for a couple weeks. He's been busy with a project. I know we really want to get wrapped up so everybody can go to bed and do their thing. Okay, so let's I'll take this to Wink. We have our meeting on Sunday, so we can get this out. And if I can get it out by next week after through Wink, if anybody wants to be part of the communications meeting on Sunday, please be there. And I'll be bringing this up at that time.
Yeah, I would say if this could go out by like Monday the 7th, that would give us 1, 2, more than 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks. No, 4 weeks of.
Or
3 weeks for comments.
yeah,
It would be 3 weeks for.
It's like 3 and a little bit more if we consider if we're saying the 31st. But yeah, it's a little over 3 weeks.
it's plenty of time for people to
Yes.
get there.
Sorry, that's what I meant. That's what.
Yeah. Okay, and then you had a problem with something on here, right? Was there a name of it or something?
No, the document that we're sending people to it was called press release, and it's not a press.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it should be called something else. I don't know what that should be called, but maybe
Core documents, Queer Burners documents or something, Queer Burners.
yeah.
And maybe the logo should be on it and, make it look nice.
Okay.
We do have a neat logo. Cool. And Scott, I'm happy, like if Wink isn't available, I'm happy to help with editing and like having a final pass or doing a final pass, because I'm pretty good at catching things like before they get sent out.
Okay.
Like I mean like grammar or broken links, things like that. Not like anything substantial
I understand.
that we've already defined.
Okay. Which of you guys think you'll be there on Sunday?
I plan to be there.
Okay. All right. So we'll follow up.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for your time. Thank you for letting me go over a little bit. I appreciate everything, you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott.
Good night.
Thanks. Good night.
Bye.